Hi, my name is Charlotte Norman Button. Today I am presenting an event analysis for COMM 323 Leadership and Event Management. I choose to do my event analysis on Super Bowl 47, held on February 3rd, 2013 at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, located in New Orleans, Louisiana. This Super Bowl was equally known as the Blackout Bowl for a 34-minute power failure. It's also known as the Har Bowl because it featured opposing head coaches who were brothers, John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens and Jim Harbaugh of the San Francisco 49ers. This particular event was interesting for me to do an event analysis on because of the specific infamous power outage that occurred during this game. This analysis is going to focus on the event's target audience, the scope of the event, services available, the marketing strategies, and suggestions for improvement. The target audience for a Super Bowl generally targets a massive and diverse audience that goes well beyond the core American football fan. So the core audience are essentially the most loyal viewers of the NFL, especially those that are of the competing teams. So in this instance, Baltimore Ravens fans and San Francisco 49er fans. The broad mass market audience is the largest portion of this sector is the general public. This audience includes entertainment seekers, individuals that are interested in high production halftime shows, pre-game ceremonies, and the overall event atmosphere. Advertisement commercial enthusiasts, this audience segment tunes in specifically for the much anticipated and creative commercials. This group is made up of all demographics and is very diverse, but are especially influential on social and new media discussions. Social viewers, this audience are those who attend or host Super Bowl parties and perceive this specific event as a social, cultural, and culinary event. This audience is paramount, particularly for advertisers in the beer, soda, snack, and quick service restaurant categories. The Super Bowl's success essentially lies in its ability to be monocultural, that attracts highly engaged fans and just a diverse group of people that view the Super Bowl. The scope and size of the event, for the event itself at the Superdome, there were 71,024 people that were in attendance. The maximum seating occupancy for a football game is 74,295. CBS broadcasted the event on their station, and it drew in 108 million viewers in the U.S., which was a significant milestone at that point in time in 2013, and it essentially secured its place among the most watched broadcasts ever at that point in time. The Blackout Bowl, quote unquote, was broadcasted to over 180 countries, and the revenue that was brought in through ticket sales, sponsorship, and advertisement was approximately $367 million. There was a wide range of venue services available at this event. Food and beverage, there were numerous concessions available and catering services within the event, such as general concessions, which is typically your normal stadium fare, hot dogs, hamburgers, that kind of thing. Local regional specialties, cultural diversity theme, which essentially being in New Orleans, you had your Creole food and things that are local to that region. And then also premium catered food, which would be available in your suites and hospitality areas. Ticket management of access and prevention of counterfeit tickets, And then emergency services, which provided medical personnel and auxiliary power systems for critical functions, which partially failed, and we'll touch on that later. There was also broadcasting services, which was the digital streaming, broadcasting from CBS Sports. That was in its second consecutive year for the digital accessibility. An international feed, again, that was broadcasting to over 180 countries, and then high definition coverage through CBS itself, providing the live high quality broadcast to all its viewers. Because the Super Bowl is such an enormous event, it really takes a multi-agency structure to provide the necessary security for an event of this magnitude. So essentially, it was a coordinated effort led by the National Football League and New Orleans, that's heavily augmented by the U.S. government. So some of those government agencies that supported in the effort was federal support from the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice, FBI, providing intelligence analysis and threat assessments, Homeland Security, which deployed response teams for tactical support and led operations targeting counterfeit merchandise, which was part of the services thing that we touched on briefly. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol provided non-intrusive inspections, such as X-ray scanning of all delivery vehicles and cargo entering the perimeter of the Superdome, and that was to detect and check for contraband, weapons, and explosives. The Transportation Security Administration, they also deployed explosive detection with canine teams. And then the FAA enforced temporary flight restrictions in the area of the Superdome, which prohibited private aircraft and blimps. And then the state and local law enforcement also assisted with crowd control, traffic management, maintained good order and discipline in the area, in the wider metropolitan area, and then also the French Quarter and other surrounding hospitality zones. As it relates to physical and perimeter security, this was set up around to maximize security and safety, set up around the Mercedes-Benz Superdome to control access and protect the venue from any external threats. Vehicle screening was one means of doing so. All trucks and vehicles making any deliveries to the Superdome were subject to intense scrutiny, requiring background checks and drivers. Of the drivers, portable X-rays, scanning cargo to ensure that there was nothing that shouldn't have been in there before it was entered into the stadium. There were also blast barriers and other security infrastructure that were positioned to minimize any vehicle-borne threats. Screening checkpoints, people with tickets or credentials were allowed within the security perimeter. However, everybody was subject to strict security screenings, whether it be metal detectors, pat downs, and careful inspection. There was also a prohibited items policy that was strictly enforced by the NFL, which listed at that time prohibited items such as not bringing anything larger than like a small purse or bag. Essentially, in 2013, there was no clear bag policy, which is in place now. But that wasn't instituted until later, but it wasn't instituted at that time. So private security also assisted in with security, and then intelligence and guest services. Staff were trained to implement the NFL's fan code of conduct, and they were trained to respond to reports of unruly or disruptive behavior as well. Marketing for the Super Bowl is multi-layered, and the NFL's event promotion and advertisers specific marketing campaigns were massive, and they used different modes of marketing. So, for example, traditional marketing, television advertising. For example, a 30-second spot cost a record high of approximately $4 million. And advertisers use this platform to showcase expensive, high production value commercials, the ones that the viewers wait for, often featuring celebrities and emotionally storytelling. Print and other media, outdoor media, the traditional advertisements in New Orleans, and national publications that bring in more buzz about the events. And then you also have new and social media marketing, which brands that release teaser ads and extended cut lines, particularly on YouTube, days or weeks before the game, just to build anticipation with within the fans, creating a pregame buzz and maximizing engagement. And then the real time engagement, which is on the social media platforms such as Twitter, which is now X, and Facebook, were used for real time brand engagement. Super Bowl 47 generated 26.1 million tweets, just demonstrating the platform's pivotal role um, with the public. And then interactive contests such as Doritos utilizing new media within their Crash the Super Bowl contest. And it was effective because the explosion of Twitter, specifically the conversation around Super Bowl 47, proved that new media was highly effective at extending the advertising reach and capturing real time consumer sentiment. Brands that integrated social campaigns with their TV ads really maximized earnings and had longer engagement. High value television production, continued effectiveness of the traditional TV spot is due to guaranteed massive reach and the cultural expectation that the ads themselves are part of entertainment, and using celebrities and nostalgia really just resonates with the customer, with the fan base. As we touched on before, the 34-minute power outage that occurred during this event happened early in the third quarter. The stadium management, which was Spectacor Management Group at the time, attributed the abnormality in the power systems that triggered the proactive relay device, essentially. So their electrical system was essentially dated. So my recommendation for this event would be to upgrade power systems with modern equipment, and ensuring that the stadium's internal electrical infrastructure is modern and updated. The solution would be to install modern LED lights rather than halogen. With LEDs, they turn on instantly rather than halogen, which takes time to warm up. Using LED ensures fully redundant, immediately deployable backup power systems that are capable of supplying full game time load. This isn't just critical to emergency lights, this also prevents lengthy delay. And then the pre-event load testing should be done by conducting a rigorous full capacity electrical test that would simulate a power draw of the entire game, but most importantly for the halftime show, which draws massive demands of power. And this should be done well in advance of an event and under the supervision of an independent, highly rated electrical consultant. And then a comprehensive incident response plan. This is just because it's such a massive event, you want to make sure everybody's on the same page with how to respond to this. So develop a pre-approved documented crisis communication plan and recovery plan with the clear rules for the NFL, the stadium management, and the power utility to issue a joint transparent statement immediately to provide real-time updates to broadcasters so that the public can be informed of what's going on. There was some rumble about it potentially being like some sort of terrorist attack, and so to sort of mitigate something like that occurring, keeping the fans and all the viewers engaged and ensuring that the public is informed of what's actually going on can make a huge difference. In conclusion, the Blackout Bowl was a monumental sporting and marketing event. which was successful in capturing the attention of over 108 million viewers across core fans, entertainment seekers, and advertisement enthusiasts. Its marketing strategies effectively blended expensive, high production, traditional television advertising with real time, new, and social media engagement. However, the unexpected power outage highlighted the critical need for a robust, modern, and fully redundant infrastructure. Future major events must prioritize continuous technology upgrades and comprehensive crisis protocols, particularly for their utilities to ensure safeguard against disruptions and protect the integrity of the live event experience. Thank you for joining me today for my event analysis. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you again.